There are stories in songs, in the melodies, the rhythm, the notes and the chords, in every word and every breath. We're all made up of stories, and every artist has a unique, challenging, and inspiring journey that makes up their stories. This is one artist's journey in his words.
I was born in Stillwater, Oklahoma. My dad was in the hotel business, so we kind of moved around a lot. Memphis was kind of a big part of growing up as a kid, and that's kind of the first place where I remember hearing a lot of music, from gospel music to Elvis was very big in Memphis at that time, but I just absorbed all of it. We lived in Memphis till 1970, and then I moved to Tucson, Arizona. It's weird, you don't think of Tucson as a big musical hotbed, but it actually really is. And I had a friend of mine who was this badass guitar player. So we just started trying to write songs. I think I showed my grandmother one thing. She was like, "That's almost like William Faulkner." And I was like, "Grandma, who's William Faulkner?" And she's like, "You're in high school, son, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." I was in my Jim Morrison phase. The first thing I wanted before I even sang was I want some fucking leather pants. The first gig I ever did was in a place called Tucson. It was called the Night Train. First time I played, so I'm all pumped up and start singing. Boom, do some kick or whatever, ripped out my pants. First move, just shredding them out. No underwear, nothing. Then I started wearing a trench coat. At the same time, I'm a young dad at that point, because my oldest daughter, Ashley, is born in 1984, and she's one of the biggest parts of my life. Around the same time, her mom and I split up. I needed to stay in the picture with my daughter, help her to be a happy kid, and that takes a lot of work. At the same time, though, I'm very ambitious about playing music and wanting to do it. And I'm sort of coming into my voice. I'm becoming the singer that I eventually become. And I'm finding that I have a pretty high range and I can sing a lot of crazy shit. I was in a handful of different bands. None of them were working out. And then I ran into my friends in Pollo Elastico, and that changed everything. It had this mixture of punk funk and just this hint of Spinal Tap to it. And then we started touring, and every time we toured, we just took shit over. There became a buzz about the band. We were opening for the Meat Puppets, Fishbone, Firehose, Concrete Blonde, Cherry Poppin' Daddies, Primus. We're just doing that, upward part of the roller coaster with the band. And unfortunately, I kind of felt that I wasn't being heard. I basically left the band at that point. It's something that I regret, Bands that make it power through that. And it means to me. In a way, that was kind of a down period. I think I'd gotten laid off from my job. My daughter was moving to San Francisco. I knew that I needed to be close to my daughter, and that was a big focus of mine. I've decided that I'm going to move to San Francisco. I end up piling everything in a trailer and a van, which turned out to be the Pollo van, which was not a good move either, guys. I'm still sorry about that. I had a trailer, the van, my daughter, 2 cats, and they had this big-ass red piano, and we got as far as Barstow, and we broke down. So I pull into San Francisco at night. I've been up 2 days, and I look at the map, and I can't see where I'm supposed to live because my eyes are so caked over from just being up all that late. And I just started crying. I'm like, I can't find where we're supposed to live. And my daughter is like, "Daddy, it's okay. It's okay, we're gonna find it." I know that I need to get my sort of foundation together. I need to get my shit together with my life. And then I got a job at DHL within the week. It's not easy to juggle raising a kid the right way and doing what you love, and then you have to have a pretty decent job. I'm so glad that I did it, because it was a time in her life when she needed me probably the most. So when I moved to San Francisco, one of the first bands I was in was Wrecking Ball. When we opened for Motorhead, Sister Double Happiness, Four Non Blondes, we had a bunch of stuff happening, and like everything else in these bands, it did not happen.
God was in my hand.
Dolorosa kind of starts, and the writing is going along really well. It's where I, as a lyricist, like really came into my own. We're starting to get some really good shows, and Linda Perry becomes a big part of it too. She helps us to finance a record. Unfortunately, the record never sees the light of day because we can't come up with an agreement. We were really bummed out, and it probably was the end of the band. And at that point, I was like, I'm not gonna be in a band again that's gonna break up. That's when I decided that I'm gonna be, a solo artist. I'm gonna play music under Brad Brooks, my own name. I'm gonna record the way that I want. I'm gonna write with whoever I want.
Do the same for me.
And my first record came out in 2000. I have 3 records out now. It's been over 10 years, actually. I feel like I made a really great record with Harmony and Passing Light, and I don't know how many people know about it, but I know in my heart that I made a great record, and I stand by it, and I'm trying to beat it.
I live to down as we go, and farewell to Fonderall.
In '97, I met my wife, Doris. We got married in 2004, and that is when my life became better, the moment that I met her.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
So another thing that happened around this time was that I started this cover band called Pop Rocks, which was a 80s, 90s, cover band. Started as an accident. Our motto was all live, all the time, tribute to drinking. At the same time, I got laid off at DHL, and my wife was kind of like, why don't you do Pop Rocks full time if you can? For a while, I was like, Dan, I'm the wedding singer, and I just hated it. But I got over that really fast. So I take it very seriously, and I know what it means to people. I still want to do my music, but I figured out that I could do both.
Well, I've been twisted, misplayed, pissed and dismayed.
It's really, really tough to make a living as a musician. So I'm in the middle of playing 80 shows a year with Pop Rocks. My wife and I were trying to have kids, so we kept trying, practicing, as I said, practice. And we're gonna go, see if it took. We have the ultrasound thing, and they're looking, and I see a baby. And my wife just starts crying, we're crying, and it's like, I see 2 babies. And my wife goes, Twins are amazing. It's double luck and double work too. They were early, so they were considered preemies, and we were in the hospital with them for a month, which is pretty scary. I'm at a point in my life where I feel like, God, it just can't get any harder between doing everything that I have to do in order to stay vital as a musician, as a writer, as a person, as a dad. And then this past February, I go to the dentist, and they do a neck exam, and they go, hey, we feel like something enlarged in your neck. The next day, made an appointment. They did what they call a small needle biopsy, and they basically stick a needle in your neck into this lymph node, which is not fun, and it comes back that it's squamous cell cancer.
Took it out on a lonely room, then I had a blind. Gasoline on an open wound, burn it off inside.
It's called HPV positive head and neck cancer. They think it originated in the back of my throat and my tongue, and that it basically got taken care of by the lymph node, but then the lymph node got it. It's a viral form of cancer. There is a 90% cure rate on it, which is very good. Felt positive about that, but I knew that I was going to go through some tough times. They said we were going to suggest that you have surgery, and if the surgery goes well, we think we can get it all, and at that point you might have to have some radiation or possible chemo. It's been 2 months now. I had the operation where they cut me open on the side here, and took out 86 lymph nodes. 2 of them were cancerous, and then I started the recovery process of that, which is very difficult. I couldn't eat for at least a week. Was in bed for a couple weeks, worried about my family, all my kids. singing is my profession. How is this going to affect it? Am I going to be able to do it? They don't know. I got through the surgery pretty well. I'm feeling pretty good now. I'm actually back singing, back to work, but I'm in the middle of radiation now, my first week of 6 weeks. So what I've been told is that I'll be a progressive downcline as far as how I feel and being able to eat and even to sing. I'm gonna sing as much as I can up until it, and then I'll probably have to take a month off.
So radiation was getting so tough that I wasn't going to be able to sing anymore. And the last thing that I was able to do was I got to sing the San Francisco Centennial. I got to sing Journey's Lights in front of thousands of people.
It's like a very big show for me, so I'm very blessed and glad to be around to do it. A month from now, I might not have been able to do it, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
Brad Brooks and Lights.
So I feel like this is just a point in my life now that I just have to suck it up and you know, get hard about it and get through it, and then hopefully it'll never return. But it's been extremely difficult, probably more than I talk about, just because of the fear that goes into it. A lot of times by yourself that you just don't know what's going to happen. The unknown is scary, probably the most scary part. Doing an MRI where you're like basically shoved in this machine in a very claustrophobic space for 45 minutes, that leaves you with a lot of darkness to think about. And you know, that was sort of the start of my reality. I'm a 54-year-old man with 3 kids and a wife, and playing my ass off and playing music, and now I have cancer. I call this a shit year. This has been a shit year. This is week 15 out of 30 radiation treatments. As of last week, I started having some pretty bad complications where it's really hard to eat. Everything's basically like sunburned and on the inside. If I'm not medicated properly enough to numb it out, it's like in tears, it hurts so bad. I have to keep my weight up because otherwise they're talking about doing a feeding tube, and I have told them I'm not fucking getting that. And I just stopped singing last Saturday. It sucks. I'm sad and bummed out about it, but a couple times last week I was like, I can't make it. I was really seriously like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm at the end of 30 radiation treatments. I have my last one on Thursday. So everything has been sunburned inside and out, and to swallow hurts, but that's what I need to do. I need to swallow like a hooker at midnight. You can use that if you want. It's been hard to be around the kids because I'm in so much pain. I just want to get back to feeling normal. I'm doing okay in some ways and not in some others. You know, I'm feeling pretty good. It feels like it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step sideways. I've jumped back in singing a lot. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I was able to do a cancer benefit show. That has been saving grace for me, and it always is for me. My own music, because it saves me. So to be able to still channel myself into that has been great. But then after that week, I had to take a week off because I was just fried out. I'm really angry, and you can't be mad at cancer. I mean, it's an inanimate thing. You can't punch it in the face. It's a black thing. It's something that's inside of you that's turning you inside out. So I'm trying to exercise that part of me. And the best way that I know is through music. My own music will always be there. And it will always be a part of who I am, no matter what. And it's always what I've done my whole life. And that is always just gonna be part of me, no matter what happens. Twins, cancer, and rock and roll. It's a way of life.